Most people think speed comes from working harder, or from being more motivated, or from having better ideas. China does not think this way. China believes something different. It believes that delay is natural. People wait, offices wait, institutions wait. So instead of trying to change human nature, China changes the system around people. This is where speed really comes from. In many countries, nothing starts until everything is clear. Plans must be perfect. Risks must be removed. Everyone must agree. This sounds smart. It feels responsible. It feels safe. But it creates one problem. Nothing moves. Time passes. Opportunities fade. Energy is lost in discussion. China uses a different rule. Start first, fix later. Action comes before certainty. Clarity is earned through movement, not through waiting. Mistakes are expected. Corrections are planned. The system does not ask, is this flawless? It asks, can we improve it once it exists? By starting early, learning begins early. And while others are still deciding, something is already being built. When a project begins in China, it is often unfinished. Rules are not complete. Details are missing. Frameworks are loose. Timelines are suggestive, not sacred. This is not confusion. This is not incompetence. This is not disorder. This is not a mistake. It is intentional. China understands one key fact. No plan survives first contact with reality. Paper logic is fragile. Reality is not. You can sit in rooms for years arguing about edge cases, hypotheticals, and risks that may never appear. Or you can move. And when you move, reality answers you. A factory reveals its bottlenecks only when machines run. A city reveals its traffic only when people arrive. A policy reveals its flaws only when citizens test its limits. Discussion creates opinions. Movement creates data. Waiting creates nothing. In motion, problems surface early. In motion, assumptions collapse fast. In motion, feedback is brutal and immediate. Mistakes are not hidden. They are exposed, then corrected, then exposed again. This is why beginnings are rough, edges are sharp, systems are imperfect, but they are alive. An unfinished system can adapt. A perfect plan cannot. By acting first, China converts uncertainty into information, confusion into clarity, delay into momentum. You learn more by building one flawed version than by debating 10 perfect ones. Movement compresses time. Iteration compounds learning. Waiting feels safe, but safety produces blindness. Doing feels reckless, but action produces sight. That is the trade, and it is chosen deliberately. This leads to the first practical hack. China asks one simple question before acting. Can this be corrected later? Not will it be perfect. Not will it fail. Not will people complain. Only this. If the answer is yes, then action begins immediately. The project moves forward even if it is only 70% ready. Plans are tested in the real world, not protected in documents. Small errors are accepted early so large errors can be avoided later. Perfection is delayed. Momentum is not. Speed creates feedback. Feedback creates adjustment. What works is kept. What fails is changed. What slows things down is removed. This approach saves time in the long run, because waiting for perfect conditions often means never starting at all. An imperfect start creates a path forward. A perfect plan creates a pause. By moving early, China turns correction into a feature, not a failure. Progress happens in motion. Clarity comes after movement. And once momentum exists, direction can always be refined. Another reason China moves fast is how it handles mistakes. In many systems, mistakes are dangerous. They damage careers, they attract attention, they create blame. So people slow down, they delay decisions, they wait for cover, they protect themselves first. China reverses this logic. Mistakes made early are tolerated. They are seen as part of movement, as part of learning, as part of building something real. But mistakes caused by delay are punished. Hesitation is questioned. Inaction is visible. Waiting without reason has a cost. This changes behavior. People do not hide. They move quickly. They test ideas early. They adjust fast. Problems are fixed while the system is already moving, not after it has stalled. Errors surface sooner. Corrections happen faster. Speed becomes protection. Momentum becomes safety. And over time, the system learns to move first and refine along the way. Speed also comes from how decisions flow. China does not rely on group agreement. It does not wait for public discussion. Decisions move top to bottom. Once the top decides, the discussion ends. There is no extended debate, no repeated approval cycles, no endless meetings. Direction is given, execution follows. Local officials are not asked what they think. They are asked what they delivered. This shifts focus immediately, from opinion to outcome, from intention to result. Energy is not spent persuading, it is spent building. This removes friction. The system moves as one body, not as many arguing parts. Speed comes not from urgency, but from clarity. Everyone knows who decides. Everyone knows what comes next. Responsibility is also very clear. In many systems, responsibility is shared. It is spread across committees, diluted across teams, hidden inside processes. When everyone is responsible, no one really is. In China, responsibility is personal. Each level knows what must be done, by when, and who will be blamed if it fails. There is no ambiguity, no safe distance from the outcome. Success has a name. Failure also has a name. This pressure changes behavior. Decisions are followed by action. Deadlines are taken seriously. Excuses lose power. People move faster because standing still is more dangerous than moving. This pressure accelerates action. Another hidden factor is repetition. China does not treat projects as unique events. It does not assume every city needs a new idea, a new system, a new debate. It treats projects as copies. Once something works in one city, it is copied in 10 more, then 100 more. The same layouts, the same processes, the same mistakes already corrected. Speed increases because learning is reused. Problems are solved once, not every time. People do not start from zero. They start from what already works. No endless reinvention, no constant redesign. Familiar systems are easier to execute. Workers already know the steps. Officials already know the risks. Suppliers already know the rhythm. Repetition removes uncertainty. Uncertainty slows action. By copying success, China turns experience into speed. What was slow the first time becomes fast the second, and almost automatic by the 10th. But this hack has a serious cost. When speed is rewarded, bad decisions also move fast. Wrong data spreads. Assumptions harden too early. Warnings are sometimes ignored. Small errors do not stay small. Large mistakes become very large. Momentum makes reversal harder. Scale magnifies damage. China accepts this risk. It understands the trade. Faster movement means faster failure when direction is wrong. But hesitation has its own cost. Delay compounds quietly. Lost time never returns. So speed is chosen over caution, not because caution is useless, but because waiting feels more dangerous than correcting later. The system bets on correction, not prevention, and it lives with the consequences. The deeper lesson is not about China. It is about systems. Speed is not created by motivation speeches or by better intentions. No pep talk, no rallying cry, no grand vision can replace the power of a system that actually moves. If you want things done faster, do not ask people to care more. Care does not remove friction. It does not shorten delays. It does not make decisions happen sooner. Do not ask them to think harder. Thinking longer often just delays action. People can think forever about problems without producing a single result. Reflection without structure is still waiting. Speed comes from structure. It comes from rules, not reminders. It comes from design, not discipline. It comes from making action the easiest, safest, and most obvious choice. Remove the permission to wait. Do not allow hesitation to be safe. Do not reward discussion over doing. Design systems where action comes before comfort, correction is allowed, delay is punished, not punished emotionally, not shamed socially, but punished structurally. The system itself makes waiting costly. The rules create pressure that forces people to move. Waiting should cost more than moving imperfectly. Comfort should be temporary. Movement should be constant. The system must reward the doing and make the standing still feel unnatural. People respond to what the system rewards. If delay feels safe, delay will spread. Every pause becomes an excuse. Every meeting becomes a stall. If action is protected, action will multiply. Every success becomes proof. Every small forward step encourages the next. This is not about discipline. It is not about culture. It is not about individuals working harder. It is about incentives. It is about design. Change the system and behavior follows naturally. Speed is not demanded, it is designed. It is built into the rules, into accountability, into the flow of information, into the way corrections are handled. It is engineered. It is reinforced at every level. Movement becomes automatic. Delay becomes costly and rare. Once the system is aligned, fast work is no longer an exception. It becomes the standard. It is the natural result of how things are set up. Speed does not rely on heroes. It does not rely on discipline or culture or motivation. It relies on structure. It relies on incentives. It relies on the rules guiding action. And that is the real lesson. If you want speed, do not push people harder. Change the system, design the rules, align incentives. Then movement becomes inevitable. Fast work is no longer optional. It becomes built in. Most societies are built to avoid mistakes. They design layers of approval. They reward caution. They protect against blame. China is built to avoid delay. Movement is prioritized. Waiting is questioned. Hesitation is costly. That is the trade-off. One system minimizes error. The other minimizes time. Neither is free. Both pay a price. But in a world where everyone is still planning, still discussing, still preparing, the system that moves first often shapes the future. Not because it is always right, but because it arrives early. And once something exists, others are forced to respond to it. Speed creates reality, and reality pulls the future toward it.